So this is Cracking Your Memoir with me. I'm Tony Chin-Quee, government name Anthony, and this is also known as Some Guys' Musings on how to write nice words good. So I hope you guys enjoy. I also wrote a book that was published last year that Jeannie just told you guys about. It's called I Can't Save You. And here's what the blurb says about this book. So it's the raw and gripping memoir of a Black physician who confronts his past mistakes and relationships as he learns to find his own path forward. Brought to you by some person who writes blurbs for Amazon. So in case I'm not like oozing it to you out of my pores, I am extremely raw and very gripping at all times, sometimes to excess. So much so that I managed to get my story published. And I'm so grateful for that at one of the major publishing houses. Of course, Riverhead is a division of Penguin Random House. And I'm a first-time author, so I went into this not knowing anything about how any of this stuff works. So it's been like a wild and fantastical and exhausting and very, very long ride to this point, which is a sentiment I'm sure all of you guys can relate to if you're out there writing. So I just wanted to take some time today to share some things that I learned about writing a memoir that I hope could be useful for you guys in the future. And the first thing I want to talk about is finding your why, the why of why you're writing this thing in the first place. So here's a pretty real question you have to ask yourself. Is my story worth telling? And when you're trying to figure out whether or not to write your memoir, I think the first step is to recognize the difference between memoir and autobiography. So first of all, autobiography. Autobiography is a chronicle of your life, starting in the beginning, from beginning to the present, kind of what you did, where you went, what you said, all that sort of stuff. And notice how I didn't say that it was a life story, because an autobiography is not necessarily a life story. It's kind of reporting the news, and that's not necessarily a story. It's an objective and often dispassionate recap of events. But a memoir is a story told by you about your life. So it's not a biography. It's not a retelling of your entire life. It's a story. It has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. And thus, in order to be most effective, I think it should center around a portion of your life. So what story within your life matters most to you, matters enough to you to devote the years of deep diving and like probing and insecurity and frustration and tears that are going to get poured into it? You know, all the lovely joys of writing that we know and embrace.